All right, let's see if I turn this a little bit this way. I'll put this a little bit here. I should be able to talk to you that way. When I look here, I think I'll all be looking at pretty much looking at the camera. So anyway, Pete, you're first. Good morning, Raw Dog. Hello. Hello, Steve. Gilvy. Good morning. John, thank you. Appreciate that. Market opens in 10 minutes, so we'll see. Yeah, silver's it's gonna go to 50 before I ever get anybody in it. Silver's the thing to own. But right now, what you can increase your account with is Railtown. This is the ownership of Railtown by the insiders. Marwan, as of the last public record that I could find. So there's a caveat. Marwan Haddad, 15%, Corey Brandolini, 13%, and a couple other guys come in combined at 2%. And then there's an institution that essentially owns very little. Individual insiders, it says, owns 28%. Institution, it's like a percent, less than a percent, according to the last filing. This is where we stand. Currently, we have 7,724,487 shares. It was probably more than that because some people didn't tell me their amounts. 7,724,487 shares of Railtown. Collectively, looks like 154 holders, and we have 5.5%, slight roundup, but a normal roundup. I think if you do that arithmetic, it's 5.45, but the 5 rounds it up to 5. So 5.5% is really big. And if we stick together, number one, we're not going to be victims anymore. We're not going to be patsies. And we're not going to make the same assumptions that we've made before. I forgot to sign in. 660-670. All right, let's see. It's 9:53. So finger is down. Down 2 cents, not much. 197. G-Bucks is up 8 cents at 185. I've heard there's a big buyer coming in, but we'll see. Nvidia is, and I'm not changing my mind, by the way. I still think the place to be is Railtown. Anyway, Nvidia is up, which I think confirms the AI 2.0 theory. Intel is up from its lows, but I think Intel's a good contrarian play. That's 25.84. Railtown's down 1.5 pennies at 58.4. So they're going to try to convince you that you should get out. It's 57.5 by 58.98, and they play with it's spoofing on the ask. The volume's very low, 38,000. Now, I have shown you, take this off. It's so depressing to see silver. Oh, I see. That's a weakness here. I'm going to keep blocking that camera So I might have to put it back over on this side. I just thought that if I did it this way, my eyes would be focused near the camera, but now I see that. Anyway, we'll do it now. All right. There's no perfect way to do anything, not when you're a. Now, here is the as of the top line there, as of July 3rd, that's the number of shorts, 41 million. Now, this number does not take into account any end of the day reconciliation. In other words, a lot of these guys are day trippers. And so they'll short it and then they'll cover quickly because they have no money. They're not rich. They're just taking advantage of it. So that might be lower. But the odd thing is, we kind of know there's been a lot of buying from people here, but also my understanding is on the West Coast and up in Canada of the real stock, of the Canadian stock. So I think this number has a chance to be, I wouldn't say it's accurate, but I wouldn't say it's much smaller than that either. Maybe it's 30 million, maybe it's 35 million. I do not want you thinking of this as a short squeeze play, but we have to accept that this exists. It makes me nervous because it's going to turn it into a hot stock that these other guys, one of them came on yesterday, threatened me, and came in and disrupted my podcast because he wants you as his next source of capital. And it's for his own interests. It's not because he cares about you. It's for his own interest. But anyway, I would prefer it doesn't squeeze because then you'll have cash. He'll come in, others will come in. It won't just be, he's just someone we know the name of, but there'll be other companies. The guy from GNS will come in, or some hot stock we don't know, and you're going to go, wow, this is so great, and you're going to go with that and lose your money. It's not that CEOs may or may not be well-intentioned. Look at Brent Sun at Logic. I think he's an honest man, a hardworking man. But when you believe the charlatans that come in your front door, they all work together. The ones that come in on the bull side, the shorts, I wouldn't even call them bankers. They're just people that bird dog to get the signature on those documents. And then the hedge funds, they all work together. And they use the same attorneys, and the attorneys protect the whole thing. I'll show you. But let's just go through some of the prices again. Let me take this down. Yeah, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to move it back over there, but next time. All right. Well, it's not bad. You don't see it when I hit these, so maybe it's not that bad. John Wick. Good morning. Hey, Kilby. Ted, good morning, Sada. Good to see you here. And I think soon, I don't know when, but soon, your commitment, your courage, your willingness to shift some of your assets is going to be well rewarded. So it's good to see you. And remember, Sada, I think you own a nice chunk of NVIDIA. So you can kind of affirm the power of this new, I don't know what to call it, this new AI, this new chip. It's not a chip though. I forget what, I should look that up and see what they call it in the news. Yeah, I'm sorry about the long call yesterday. Hey, so now what? Raw dog. I'm sorry about that. It got, I didn't really appreciate being attacked yesterday or bullied or threatened. But I'm going to show you a couple of charts here in a second. And it doesn't matter what the name of the person is. I don't want to make anything personal. But somebody asked me specifically yesterday. On the other hand, I think over the last couple of weeks or 1 week, I've used his name directly. Where it starts, where it began, I can't begin to know in, but my love is growing strong. All right, DMAC, but 479 more. Yeah, it'd be nice, DMAC, to get to 7,750,000. Be even really cool to get to 8 million, which might just be a matter of more people reporting what they own. All right, Edward Nunny, I guess, Edward Nunny. Bar none. Added 8,500. My eyesight. Okay, here comes the shills. Unfortunately, Railtown is making a double top and it's about to crash to 20 cents. Sorry to say. All right, let me address that. I understand that the short position has gone up by another few million shares since that report. I can't confirm it. I haven't seen it in writing. But if, let's say, it went to 45 million, and then let's adjust that and say that at least 10% or 20% has covered. So let's call it 35 million short. I hope it doesn't cause a squeeze. I really do. But if this deal gets closed, and I suppose I have to say it's an if because it hasn't happened yet, but I'm pretty confident that the transaction, that the clues are there. If the regulators were going to kill this transaction, it would have been killed within 60 days of the initiation of the approval process, February 12th, maybe. Now, that's from Google. I don't know anyone in the Canadian offices, but that's from Google. And I believe it. I believe Google for other things. I mean, Google says that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. So you got to believe things on Google. The other thing is the tape is telling you that something's going on. The stock, yes, today is down 2 cents. So it's at 58 cents. The volume's only 44,000. So it's not real volume. But the stock is up double from when I started talking about it, in some cases more than double. And the tape is telling you, I think, the deal has progressed to the point that there's a great deal of confidence in its finalization. That's my belief. I think for the first time you're seeing a stock trade where you can trust the tape. Except yesterday, I thought the stock was going to break out. That's why I raced on to come on, because the bid went over 62 cents. But then we've got to take into account that the criminals just can sell endless amount of shares. Adina Friedman, Cromwell, Robert Cook, Atkins, Ann Wagner, the whole slew of them. They support this criminality. So we got to, I think we can play victim and come in here and try to fight it with their next idea, which is only going to help the IR person. Whoever brings the deal to you, it's like that Godfather movie. They're the one you can't trust. It'll be Branzini. Whoever comes to you, Michael, he'll be the one. He'll be the one. So whoever brings, there's going to be somebody out there on Twitter that starts promoting Railtown, rah, but he's not getting paid for Railtown. And if you look on his Twitter pages, he's being paid as an IR guy for another company. He's going to start talking to you about selling Railtown. Hey, you got to win. Hey, I'm getting out of it. And he's going to get you over in the other one because he has stock in that one, which he needs to offload on you so he and his family can eat. You don't have families? You don't need to eat? Avoid it. Avoid it. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. But of course, you're adults. You can do whatever you want. But that's what's coming. This work that you've done to build this position, you guys have done this work over this period of time, 7,724,000 shares, 5.5% of the Yahoo implied outstanding shares. You've done it, and he's going to come in at the last minute with the same whales that are already in the project, the same whales that already knew about the stock, some of whom in a 6 degrees of separation, I know of, but I'm not claiming them at all. The same sources of information, but he's going to come in as the know-it-all, like it's his idea at the last minute, turn it into hot money. Hey, it's breaking out. It's blue sky. Hey, we got to go. And once it's hot money in motion, they train you. You want money in motion. That's when you can get people to go into the next stock. Just look at his track record. Let me show you a track record while we're talking about track record. Now that you brought it up, thanks for bringing it up. All right, I got to go more. I don't know how to do this. Okay. I didn't want to do that, but sorry about that. I think it's my eyesight has worsened. My eyesight is worsened. All right, let me show you. Cindy Lou Who says, I blame it on a dead man. Well, a picture is worth 1,000 words, as they show you. Here's COSM. You see where it was before. An IR guy, you know his name, a guy who's dead, you know his name, and a CEO with a hot new idea came to you. We got to go in. I'm not going to do a deal. We have a short. We're changing the QSIP. We're changing the name. That's going to cause a squeeze. You know, for an IR guy to spread that story is either ignorance or it's intentional. Just remember that. And I actually think intention would be less damning than ignorance. But anyway, here's what happened to COSM. You can see the dollars over here are not pennies because they did a reverse split. But to my memory, at that low, it was 18 cents. And they came on with a big flurry. You got to buy it and switch over. But you know what? I have credible information that people got stuck. You know, you can do your own due diligence. I don't have time to look it up. It should be disclosed. The names won't be there. So then you can ask yourself, you see the spike? Couple of spikes even. The next day it had some volatility, but that main spike, you can ask yourself, did they get out of the stock? They drove it up. Were they doing that to help you or so they could get out of their stock? You can ask that. Now, the other thing is here on the COSM, as everyone piled out of GTII and Finger because of this, remember, it's the same model. GTII went up, Finger went up. These guys come in to prey on you to take that money that's created so they can make money in their stock. And if they can get you to do this with money, the computers start coming alive. And on that rally, they're buddies. And I'm telling you, they all work together. They're ignoramuses. They just do the same thing over and over again. But their buddies on the short side come in and do a deal. And right in there, I think it was in that black volume in the middle of the downtrend, they did a deal. And so the company COSM brought in $35 million approximately. That was your money. Now let me show you a couple other charts. See that circle down there? 2023. Look at this circle. This is Finger. Do you see that Finger was in the middle of a squeeze? Oh, you're blaming it on a dead man. I'm not blaming it on a dead man. There's the picture. There's a squeeze going on in my judgment. I could be wrong. Maybe they had another trick up their sleeve to stop it. But Finger was in the middle of a squeeze, and then they crushed it simultaneously with COSM. And you would say, oh, it's just coincidence. No, those guys came in on the spaces, in on the same group conversation, because that's where the money is. Where do you steal money? The banks. That's where the money is. Where do you steal money when you're doing these crap stocks? When the stocks spike and retail comes in volume, that's where you steal. Look at the rally in Finger, and then they crushed it. Right simultaneously. You don't believe that's a coincidence? Look at this. Here's GTII. Look at the date. This is a little more spread out. But you see the collapse. You see the rally and you see the collapse. They come for the money that's created, the hot money. They need you. And I want you this time not to listen, because Railtown is the way to create value in your account that will last, if you stick with it, that will last the rest of your life. Don't listen to this crap anymore. All right, let me take that down. Of course, you'll do what you want to do. They're going to be very compelling. They always are compelling. They're always compelling. And they sound so knowledgeable. All right, DMAC. Okay, that's great. 13,000. All right, I got to write that down. That's great, DMAC. Edward added 8,500 more. I wrote that down. That's fantastic. Now, this guy, I didn't finish my thought. This guy's trying to help do that same thing. What they want, and I feel so badly for, I wrote his name down somewhere, but I can almost remember it. The gentleman that sold part of his position because it made sense to take some money out. I think he's going to regret it. I think he's going to totally regret it. But he still has a large position, so I commend him for that. But what these guys want you to do is, number one, be nervous here that the stock's down 1.6 pennies. Then they want you, when it rallies, they want you to get out as a relief. Why? My understanding, just added up, the sort of the insiders there, the corporate people and shareholders are around 30% of the float of 100 million. Out of Canada, some of this could be overlapping, but one of my sources of information tells me that there's something like 50 million shares with strong hands in Canada. I don't know. I don't know the strength of his information, but that adds up to 80 million. And then we have almost 8 million. That's 88 million. And I understand there's a gentleman on the West Coast that's been working the phone, so to speak, and I forget the number, but it's something similar. So it gets it up over 90 million. These people aren't going to sell. They're buying it because they understand what happened with Constellation Software. They understand AI 2.0. They're not going to sell. So this guy, Lo-Fi Brains, he needs you to sell to bail his ass out. Don't sell. Don't sell. Don't. When like yesterday, when that gentleman came on here with anger, threatening me, that's to get me and maybe you in our emotional head, or it's not even head. So we're not thinking clear, and we're moving, we're scared, we're susceptible to panic and fear. That's what they want. We have to remain surgical here. We have to be focused. We have to operate with our brains, with the 5% of our capacity of our brains that operates in the here and now. If they get us into our subconscious fears and our whatever all that crap is, I can't stand studying all that. How does it make you feel? Just look, before we start, how are we going to arrange payment? Okay, we can talk now. Bing, time's up. Well, I'm sorry, we'll have to continue next week. I hate all that shit. But they want you in those things that emotionally you can't understand, so you make bad decisions. But they have a plan, and they just keep implementing it over and over and over again. You agree to a ceasefire, you fly to the White House, you keep pushing for U.S. support because you're so puny as a country, you can't conquer your neighbors, you get U.S. support for the genocide, for destroying Gaza Strip, for going after Lebanon, for going after Syria's oils, and maybe going after Iraq again, and Iran for sure again, and maybe going into Jordan. Because you can't do it yourself, but you keep coming, you keep coming. You agree to what you can, you move it forward a little bit, and it seems like it's settled, but then you keep coming, you keep coming. This is how these people are. They keep coming, they keep coming, they keep coming. But you don't have that fortitude because you don't have that machine-like quality of one goal. And right now we have to have one goal. The goal we have right now is to hold on to our Railtown until they finish that deal, and then until we have more information. Hopefully, what I'd like to see is two things: revenue and revenue projections. And then we can use the multiples for AI right now, and we can divide it by the number of shares, and we can have an idea of what's next. But please do not let these guys shake you out. This guy's here because I hope, fervently hope, that Railtown doesn't squeeze. I'd much rather it just steadily goes up, pauses, goes up, takes a year, takes 18 months, takes 2 years to make you a completely different financial account than you have now. But if it squeezes, all of a sudden it's hot money and your blood's flowing. And that's when these IR guys come in. They've been given a slug of stock. They don't do anything for free. Except they might come in and brag that they're raising money from the exact same people who were already in the stock. They're going to say, we're raising money in it. They're doing that for free. But it's to get embedded in the emotions of what I think is going to be the most successful trade you've ever had. I don't know you personally. If this does what I think it's going to do, it'll be my top 3. All right, I think I made my point. This guy's here just to get you loose. And if you sell like this other gentleman did, I don't know what he did. He must have made 10 cents, 15 cents. So he sold a third of his position. Well, people do what they're comfortable with, and you can't argue with that, but he's going to regret it. And I think that's the same thing. If next week, the following week, what would that be? Next week's the 15th, the following week. All right, so then the week after that, we're still in July. So let's say the last week of July, they finally announce what I've been waiting for every single day. They finally announce a closure, I hate that word, to the transaction. I think the stock, my opinion, the stock, the longer it takes, the more I think the stock immediately goes to something like $2. And I don't even know why it would pause, but maybe there would be a pause. Maybe it's you guys, some of you sell, but I do not believe the shorts, the criminals, are going to be able to do the same games here once that announcement comes. Why? Because the whole world will be informed of the final agreement. It might be pending shareholder approval. I mean, I looked that up. There's 5 days of notice and then 35 days to get the vote. However, the vote's not in doubt. The vote's not in doubt because of the closely held nature of the shares. But it might mean that the movement to my target of 10x could take 6 weeks, 8 weeks instead of 6 days. But we'll find that out. I don't know if it's going to take that long, which is why I'm being so urgent. But I think the movement to $6 is going to be quite sudden. Why? Because all of the buyers, all of the investors, even in Constellation Software, the investors who speak with John Ruffalo, who backed it, they're probably precluded from buying unless they want to go to jail. If he's talking to them about this deal, it's material inside information, and you cannot trade on that. The only way you can trade with material knowledge of what's going on is if you're one of the short sellers. They collude, they work together, and no one enforces the rules. So we're going to get away from that. Railtown is our exit from these scumbags, including the regulators. Shame on them. Shame on the regulators. But those investors in Constellation Software know the power of what AI Partners' strategy is, which is identical, as some people apparently used to say in upstate New York, identical, Adams, New York. I never heard them say it. I heard tell. But it's the same model as Constellation Software. $1 to $5,000. Took 13 years, but hell, that's the stock to own. And it was steady, steady, steady. Why? Revenue, revenue, revenue. Recurring revenue, predictable revenue, growing revenue. It's a beauty. It's a beauty to behold. But then all of the investors in AI partnerships and the 160 companies can't invest right now. Anybody that has an account at Canaccord Genuity is not being told about Railtown now because it's restricted. That's institutional, that's family office, that's mutual funds, that's retail. There's no research reports. Anybody in Railtown AI and the investors cannot buy Railtown. So what happens? As soon as they finally, but be grateful that it's taken this long, because we've been able to build a position of 7,724,000 shares. Be grateful. But when it's finally done, all that buying can come in. Now, I think if some of the mutual funds and some of the institutions and the retirement accounts require final shareholder approval, some of that buying will have to wait for 40 days, maybe 35, however they announce it. But let's say it'll have to wait a month and a half. So that big buying might be at higher prices. Some of the institutional buying might say they, in their bylaws or in their investment strategy, they're not allowed to buy anything under $3 US or under $5 US. So those will have to come in later. There might be some of the wealthy people who understand this and they don't have any restrictions. They start buying right away because they'll be falling all over each other to get in to what I think is one of the best AI stories out there. Of course, I'm sure there's a lot others too, but you got to go with the one you know. And then it, I don't know, if it crosses $1, that might bring in smaller institutions, family offices. If it crosses $2, it becomes marginable, and maybe retail comes in on their own. I'm sure there'll be a buzz for a stock that is moving like that. I'm sure there's the potential for a lot of buying to come in. And then the charlatans will come in trying to say they're in here. It's their idea. They're the ones making you go. Remember, you did it. You didn't need that guy that came in and threatened me. You did it on your own. You didn't need his advice, and you do not need his advice on the next stock that he's being paid for. And maybe he believes the story. What's his expertise in healthcare? What is he offering the company? Access to investors. He doesn't have them. The whales that he talks to are the whales already here. They're somebody else's whales. And you were already here. You did this on your own. But anyway, there'll be enthusiasm, let me use that word, once the stock starts running, of buyers. Now, to finish on this point with this idiot, lo-fi idiot, is if I'm correct about the Morgan Stanley video I played for you, and maybe I'll play it for you again, the Alturer video I played for you, I doubt I'll ever torture you with that again. And then other research that I'm reading, discussions I have. You know, my network's not as big as it used to be, but discussions, they're all dead because I'm getting ancient, which you guys remind me that I'm an old guy. Swell. But the multiples are going up. The money is going into AI. And you can see it in NVIDIA's stock price. So anyway, if I'm correct about Railtown, and there'll be other stocks out there, don't get me wrong. Railtown's not the only stock. I just don't know about the other stocks. Railtown is first mover, first to market. It solves a real problem. And it speeds development and adaptation of other AI 2.0 software development. Everybody wants, I think it's Conductor, although the last news story was Langtrax, but everybody wants it. So my point about this lo-fi idiot is he wants you to get nervous, and if it goes, I don't know, goes to $5, whew, I'm getting out, and I'm going to go into the next IR guy's idea. I'm going to go hop from idea to idea while those IR guys sell their own stock and then move on, and then they get angry at you when you question them about a stock. I'll talk about it. It's 45 cents, but they don't point out that it's already had a reverse merger. Guys, we got to get away from this. It's not personal. It's business. We have to get away from it. They have no choice. They don't have any skills. They don't have the ability to have a job on Wall Street. They can barely put a sentence together without the word fucking in it. Let me show you. Let me show you. You can read that while I'm talking. So anyway, the Railtown, this guy, Lo-Fi Addict, I'm going to take this down now because it makes my blood boil because it's a threat to me. And I don't like that. I don't like being bullied. There's a reason for the bullying and the cowering. It's saying, hey, I'm more important than anyone else. It's me. My family. I'm important. Hey, hey. But it's the investors are already here. I know them all. Why he's here, why he's invited in, I don't know. He doesn't add any value, but people want him in. But when he comes here and threatens me, it does piss me off. But it's not personal, and I don't care about him, and I don't want to have a fight with him or anything. What I want you to do, though, is recognize guys like him are going to come after your hard work. This is your hard work. Don't give it up easily. Anyway, this guy wants the retail to solve the problem. If there's 40 million shares short, I've heard the number might be as high as 45 million. And if you discount it by 10% or 20%, maybe it's 30 million. If this stock opens up, let's say I'm right, it goes to $2 after the news announcement. What do you think the shorts are going to do? They're not going to put more money up. What do you think the prime brokers are going to do? Allow them to keep shorting? Maybe if they're a big enough account. But these are pikers. These aren't Citadel or SAC or the Toad. I doubt the Toad's in here. It could be if he had computers on and he got in trouble because the computers did the selling. It's possible. But the rest of them are just dangerous wannabes. I think you could see a spike. You could see short covering. And I hope that doesn't happen. But this guy wants you to sell because the insiders, they're not going to sell. The people scrambling to get into a great AI 2.0 story, they're not going to sell. The only source of stock of selling is if they, lo-fi idiot, can make you sell. It's the only source. They think this is their way out of their self-made misfortune. But you don't owe it to them to help them out of that misfortune. Let them experience it. They're just bullies. They don't give a shit about you. Sorry for my language. But we'll talk about that because then it gets tricky. Obviously, as a friend of mine, former Goldman Sachs guy who managed a family office back when from the Middle East, when I was in London, a good guy. But he'd always say, well, it always comes down to price, doesn't it? It's always a matter of price. So I'm saying all this, but what if the squeeze takes the stock to really high numbers? And I'm not talking like I used to draw charts. I don't think that is likely here, but some number, maybe we do have to do something, but let's talk about that later after we have some information. The information I'm looking for mainly is revenue, growth of revenue, number of shares, and then what multiple maybe we should use. And we can calculate what the stock is probably going to be worth. So if the stock rallies below that number, I wouldn't think you'd want to sell. The risk is this guy's trying to get you to forget about. The risk is once Railtown gets over $5, gets over $10, it becomes an institutional stock. Just imagine, if you will, imagine the world. But imagine if you can, for once, because we're on a real stock here. We're not on well, they got contracts and they're developing this and they're going to bring this in. And it's amazing. It's unbelievable situation. We're not in one of those. We're in a real stock that institutions are going to buy. It doesn't need us. We're just along for the ride. But imagine, let's say the State Street ETF wants to be in early stage AI. They're going to be, I don't know what the maximum they can buy, 5%, 10%. I don't know if there's a limit, but they're certainly going to buy 5%. And then what if Fidelity wants in there? They're not going to come in for 1%. They might buy 5% themselves. And then if Morgan Stanley comes in, who is making a push, they might have 3 or 4 product areas. They might have investment banking. They might have their managed money. They might have a closed-end fund. They might have a limited partnership. I don't know what things they create, but they're going to create products that they can earn fees on and pay for all their overhead. They might have 3 different areas that own 5% of Railtown. Anyway, my point is, once they buy, they're not selling. So if you and I sell because of lo-fi idiot, we might not be able to get back in. I'm not talking about price. I'm talking about there might not be volume. There might not be stock to buy at any price. And because institutions are not the hot money. They're not the traders. They buy it, they're going to hold it 5 years. They buy it, they're going to wait until Apple Computer takes the whole thing out. I'm making that up, of course. So there's a real risk if we go hot hands because of lo-fi, or we go chasing some IR guys' other stock, we're not going to be able to get back in here because there is no stock for sale. Right now, the reason you're able to build your position is these short sellers have their computers on, their algorithms on, to create stock out of thin air. Because they think they're going to get out of this. Because they get out of every other one. Every other situation they get out of. Even AMC and GME, they run up, they run it back down, they run it up, run it down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And they make more money in the situations where it gets up. It goes up like an elevator, as the expression goes, and they come down by the stairwell because they're collecting every bit of money they can on the way down. And then they run up, they do it again, and they do it again. They all work together. And if they don't, they might as well be. I think they all work together. Or they have a keen sense that, hey, let's leave that alone. Let's come on as bullies. Let's ridicule one person. Look, I've thought about that. I think people's motivation is always like George Bush invading Iraq. I don't think it was one reason. I can think of 2 or 3 reasons, and the fact that he's a prick. So what's my reason for doing this? I believe, and I search, because I wonder why I get so passionate. I really do. And without being corny, I've said I've asked for help. I've asked for, I've prayed for help on it. I truly believe that my goal here is to help you become your own financial strength. So you're not taken advantage of by the system, whether it's this trading system or it's the banksters or it's debt. I believe that's my motivation, but I'm not a shrink. Is it because my mother pulled me aside when my brother and sister and I were playing at age, I don't know what the hell age, 5 or 6, and we're all dressed up back then, I don't know, Superman, Batman, and Supergirl or something. You are not to have fun until your brother and sister are having fun. Is it that? Maybe I have some need to make sure others do well before I can do well because of those. And that wasn't the only time she put that. I don't know. I really don't know. But I've searched my heart here and my brain, and I don't have any ulterior, you don't know me, but I don't have any ulterior motive except I want you not to be taken advantage of by this group of people that don't give a crap about you. They're just looking out for their own lining. And we've been here over and over again trying to fight it, and the fight doesn't work. I want you out. and Railtown's the way out, and silver's the way out. And there'll be other investments once we get through. And then there might be cases then that damn it. There might be cases then that I have some arrangement or not, and I'll tell you about it. Or we set up. I was thinking we could set up a investment vehicle, and if I receive some sort of compensation, that's shares or something, I could throw it back into the pot somehow. I don't know how to say it. It'd have to be arranged by. I'd have to go to an attorney to figure out how to arrange it. But all right, so Adam is here to tell you. All right, he wants you distracted by a hot stock. I don't want you to listen to any of these guys. Djokovic might already be playing. Damn it. I mean, look, I might have to sign out here in shortly. No, he's not playing yet. Okay, got at least 10 minutes. Wow, Fritz won the second set off of Alcaraz. Bravo. Bravo. All right, so we got some time. Look, these guys are going to come with other stocks. Assume every person, even this guy that comes in looking handsome and like he's on your side, assume every one of them is part of the cabal trying to take your money. You don't need these hot stocks. Oh, it's looking good. It's up 30%. Oh, I got to go over there. It's already up 30%. Just ignore it. You're in the best stock you've ever heard of. Well, I don't know what you've heard of, but one of the best stocks you've ever heard of. Hey, Colby. All right, Colby, your fund's cleared. I told you you'd have a chance today to buy it. I thought you would, and I think I said you'd have a chance to buy it at 59 cents. It's 58 to 59, 58, 59.3. The low on the day is 50. Wow, 56.53 low. That's only 64,000 shares. 64,000 shares. This is all coordinated. It's illegal, but nobody in the regulatory offices care because they're corrupt, because they want jobs at Goldman Sachs and at Gibson Dunn. So there's no relief here. The only way to win is to no longer be a victim. Take our chips off the table. Stop listening to everybody. And you can stop listening to me too. But after you build your position right now in Railtown, stop listening to me after it goes up 10 or 15x. But I don't think you're going to want to sell them. But anyway, we'll see. Good for you, Colby. Let me know. Let me know. Pete the Greek. See, Pete is a much calmer guy than I am. Wow, Lo-Fi. Thank you for the tip. See, here comes Lion. He works for the other side. He's saying, wow, AMC, GME finally moving. Why are you going to get sucked in with that again? Every time you're going to get sucked in, AMC's up 27 cents. You're going to go over there? Please don't listen to him. GME. Oh, wow, it's up 50 cents. He was saying buy it at $27. He was saying buy it at $30. Now it's $23.50. That stock is overvalued by at least $18. There's no reason to buy it. But they want you in there. They want you out of here. You guys, the shorts are screwed in Railtown. Let's be, if we can, let's be an institution for a little while. Let's not become, and you can tell I'm always emotional. So I'm not insulting anybody, but let's not be emotional. Let's go, oh, Lion is saying AMC and GME are running. They're going to make a run for the moon. What the hell is that? How many times do you have to be burned in those stocks to realize these guys are just siphoning your funds off into their pockets and they get a kickback for doing it? This guy doesn't believe what he's saying. Fucking idea that it's running for the moon. Yeah, of course it's not financial advice. It's advice to help the shorts in Railtown. Oh, and then he throws in, will rlaif be next? I don't consider GME being up 60 cents on the day at 23 when the stock's low for the last 52 weeks is 1873. So it's, within shooting distance of its low, and the high is 3581. That's not going for the moon. AMC, the low on the year 245, the high 576. It's 327. It's going to the moon. And will Railtown be next? This is a joke. This is a joke. Guys, you have taken 4 months, 4 weeks at least, to build this position. Don't let this silliness. It's not serious. Lion of all trades is not a serious man. This is serious. This will make you substantial. Obviously, I've got to caution that just like the research group here, Research Capital, a year ago. Sorry, my hand's shaking for some reason. They put it out as a speculative buy. And it is speculative because that's why it's 60 cents. So in the context of a speculative recommendation, I think it's as good as it gets. John Croissant, how are you? Gary Madrill. Oh, God. Guys, they hope you're an idiot. Why would GameStop go up because they bought Bitcoin? This guy's not serious either. If you want to own Bitcoin, set up a wallet and buy it directly. You don't have to buy it through Ralph Cohen's brain. And he didn't buy $28 a share worth of Bitcoin. So if you buy GameStop hoping that Bitcoin goes up, Bitcoin has to go up by so much, and the reward is going to be diluted because it has to go through his brain. They have to unwind their leases. It's just silliness. This man is not serious. Please stop listening to him too. Hey, Emil, good morning. Ted Williams, good morning. Giuseppe, there's a lot of good people here. You're one of them. John Wick, yes, I'm not giving financial advice. Somebody told me that I sounded almost like that, and I'm not. I can't give financial advice. Let me explain why I can't. I don't know you. I don't know your situation. I don't have a fiduciary responsibility to you. And I don't know your assets. I don't know your income. I don't know your dependents. I don't know your goals. I don't know any of that. So all of this has to be on you to absorb and make your own decision. But what I am trying to do is, I am being pretty forceful, but I'm trying to present to you a theory, a strategy, I'm trying to educate, motivate. Uh, uh, it's all editorial. It's all opinion. But that's exactly what research analysts do. That's what Wall Street does. That's all Wall Street does. Well, all Wall Street does is give you ideas. So it's not unique what I'm trying to do. But this gentleman, John Wick, is correct. I'm not giving financial advice. Although, if you subscribe to a research report letter, you get it every month or every day. It's not financial advice, but it's all recommendations. So the key thing is we don't have a fiduciary relationship. So you should seek that with your broker or someone else. Northeast Iowa, another 5. Good for you. When Djokovic starts playing, I'm going to sign off and then come back on. It's not going to go down to 20 cents. But you're right. Anything can happen. Anything can happen for a spike. But I don't think that's going to happen with Railtown. We're not the mover in this stock. I know some of you think we might be. We obviously have some impact. I mean, that's a lot of shares. But everything we buy is created out of thin air by the shorts. I think the real buying is coming out of Canada. And it's probably whispers. I'm not accusing him of anything, but it's possible a guy like John Ruffalo would tell one of his biggest investors, this is what's going on. And that guy or that girl had invested in Constellation Software, and he doesn't give all of the information, but he just says, I'm excited about this. And that person could be out establishing a position. It's just the whispers do get around. So I really hope something happens soon. So, we can stop waiting and waiting. Fidelity GTC's at 15 cents. You're talking about GTII? I would get out of that and come in here. Not to get off subject, but Rocket Lab is a real investment with upside. Yeah, I've heard about that one. I don't want to be distracted by that right now, Colby, but that's one that I've sort of been aware of for, 2 years. And I think it's the same one. And we'll keep an eye on it. But right now, I think the urgent thing to do, and I don't know what you're doing, Colby, but let me look up Rocket Lab, Rocket Man. $38. The high on the year is $40, so it's close to its high. So it may be. It's not the same company I was thinking of. The 52-week range, it's already up from $4.20. The high on the year is 40. So you're buying at the highs. That sometimes makes sense because if the stock's breaking out, it has a ways to go. But I think probably, it is defense. It is defense. So that's going to, it's probably a stock after you've made money to have some diversification into. It's got an $18 billion market cap. So, Colby, I'll ask you this. If people here follow your advice, and it's not financial advice, and get into Rocket Lab, do you think over the next, let's say 2 months, could be 2 weeks, but let's say 2 weeks to 2 months, do you think Rocket Lab is going to go to 180 billion in market cap? Do you think the stock price of Rocket Lab is going to go from $39 to $390 in the next 2 to 8 weeks? Because if you don't, any money you have for Rocket Lab should be going into Railtown. In the next 2 to 8 weeks, it's my projection. It's not a promise. It could take longer. I think Railtown will give you 10x, maybe 15x on your money. Could be less. Could be 5x. But is Rocket Lab going to go to 200 in that time frame? I don't think so. So I appreciate the idea, but right now, Railtown is the place. It is the only case. It is the only stock, like Paul Newman in The Verdict. This is the only case. There is no other case. For right now, focus, Colby, focus. There's 10x right in front of you. And it's good to dream about the others, but there's 10x right here, right now. I don't know why you want to avoid it. Are you afraid of making money? I'm not picking on you. I get frustrated with that. What's the logic? Well, rather than doing Railtown, I'll buy Rocket Lab. I believe you. That's going to give a good return. That's going to give an arithmetic return. You make 15% a year on it. Railtown's going to give you an algorithmic. It's going to give you a hockey stick return within the next 2 months, in my judgment. Of course, I would have said that 2 months ago, so it could be 3 months. But it's going to be very soon. And I've given you the reasons why. There's no accurate price on Railtown right now because none of the buyers can buy. And the suppressors are the shorts computers. And the reason these guys are coming in is because those shorts are in trouble. But I don't want it to be a short squeeze play. I'll be clear on that. But that's why the stock's suppressed. The buyers can't buy. And the reason we as retail have a chance is because this process is lengthened out. It's giving us a chance to buy. But if you want to go chase your investment grade vehicle that's going to give you 12% per annum, maybe 20% this year, 7% next year, go ahead. Railtown's going to give you 10 times your money in the very near future. Is it 5 times? Maybe. Is it 15 times? Maybe. So 10 times with 5, either way. 5x is still fantastic. It's much better than Rocket Lab's going to do over the next 8 weeks. Get your 10x. And then if you want to diversify in Rocket Lab, I can't blame you. But to do it now, there's only 3 decisions you can make in a stock. Buy it, hold it, sell it. If you're selling Railtown now, you're going to regret it. If you're holding it, you're going to love it. And if you're buying it, you're going to feel like you're going to square your shoulders. You're going to walk in cocktail parties feeling like, wow. That's my opinion. Rocket Labs. There's a lot of stocks. Buy Boeing. I'm not making fun. It's a good idea. I like the idea, Colby. I do like the idea. Oh, my Jennifer Valtrano. She's a good kid. Well, she's not a kid. Everyone's a kid to me. But I'll state it again. in Railtown. I do hope to have the CEO on here eventually, but I've never spoken to anyone at the company. I have no engagement by the company. I'm not being paid shares by the company. I'm not being paid warrants. Nobody's given me dinner or airfare, or there's just no compensation here, which might make people wonder, what the hell are you doing this for? Well, I do have a vision that if we can stick together, we can maybe create an investment group, an exchange, buy a brokerage firm. But the one that I'm really intrigued by is if I can go out and establish a resource company, oil and gas, gold, mining. But then maybe that's one of the reasons I'm keen on hearing their model. Maybe use the Constellation software model to accumulate. But we'll see. That's down the road. That's down the road. I don't need it. I can do that. I have. I hope. I think I have still access to my long-term investors, but I don't know. I'm getting older and time goes by. You never know till you get out there again. PT Knoll. Thank you, Ted, for that. PT Knoll. Add 1,000. All right, PT Knoll. Thank you. So now what? Over the years, I've heard the FUD fear and the new ideas get to me. Chase, I wanted to be in AI. Now I'm in rlaif. Thank you. Rlaif. Rlaif. You know, RLAIF stands for something in AI, like real language AI, something. You can look it up. It means something. So it's a really clever, it's really clever stock ticker. All right, Justin. Babish added 500. All right. That's great. That's a good number. That's a great number, in fact. Good for you, Justin. Zelly Zen. Zelly Zen, how are you? You mean the stock has doubled since you started pumping it and telling everyone to sell their other positions to go in, all into RLAIF? I don't know what your point is. I do think people should. I mean, it's what I would do. People have to make their own decisions, but I think there does come a time in financial situations to concentrate when you know something, when you believe something, to concentrate on one position. Yes, I do believe that people should concentrate their account as much as they're comfortable with in Railtown. And Sally, I'm saying it again. Yes, I think people should sell their other crappy stock to buy Railtown. And frankly, I'd probably sell some of the blue chips if you're not have tax consequences, because all you have to ask yourself, Zelly Zen, with a flower in your hair, is over the next 8 weeks, 12 weeks, let's say by October 1. No, let's go a little further. By October 15th, because that'll give time for Wall Street to come back from their summering and start raising money in AI. By October 15th, just ask yourself, where do you think these other stocks are going to be? And can they give you 10x? So, yeah, I do stand by my call there. And I mean, the stock has doubled. Yeah, it has. Well, it's not true. I started talking about Railtown, I believe, in October of last year. And for myself, I don't have a big account like I used to. Well, I never had a gigantic account, but I don't have a meaningful account. But I think my average price was around 38 cents. So I think people purchased it actually. Some people did anyway, in the high 30 cents. But yeah, from the time of about the beginning of June, the stock has more than doubled. And I just think that's a prelude to the stock. I just explained it. I'm willing to do it quickly again. Railtown was an R&D company founded by two guys who've been through it before. They've got the financing background. They've got software background. They came up with a solution to software development issues that are critical, that everybody wants. And they made the intentional decision to get this AI self-learning, proprietary, and they call it, it's deep. I forget the word they called it. Vertical. So that when a company buys it, it's in the company's data set, not out on the whole internet. So it's got privacy. Everybody wants it. And they want it to be early this time because they had the vision of what's coming with AI 2.0. And there is some serendipity here because NVIDIA and the other big chip manufacturers have made the quantum leap into whatever that next chip is called that has massively increased the capabilities of computers and the cloud to process data. Simultaneously, everybody from Apple to Tesla to all of Northern Virginia is building data centers. So the capacity to compute, they call it compute power, which I hate that word, but the processing power now of the cloud, of computers, data centers, has made a gigantic move forward. And so that sets up the next phase of AI 2.0. And if I've played it, I'm not going to do it now because I want to get to the bottom and then go watch Djokovic. But the AI 2.0 is really about, according to the Morgan Stanley analyst, or one aspect of AI 2.0, is that the original AI was basically about data collection. The next one is about how to use it all in real time. And it's because of the compute power that they can do it. And it's going to revolutionize everybody's life. Zelly Zell, the girl with the flower in her hair. To quote James Altucher, who's very hard to listen to, admittedly, so I listen to him so you don't have to. James Altucher, who was ahead on Bitcoin, he was ahead in crypto, and he says that his whole life he's studied artificial intelligence. He says that AI 2.0, and it's out there, you can listen to it on YouTube. AI 2.0 is going to make crypto, what we saw in crypto, look like a ripple. There is going to be a tidal wave, of wealth created by AI 2.0. This is James Altucher. This is our generation's last chance, basically, to get rich with an investment. I was writing it down. I said at changing our life, but anyway, his point, this is our last chance, this generation. He says AI 2.0 isn't some far-off dream. It's already here. And he said, forget crypto. Forget crypto. This is a wealth-building opportunity that hasn't happened in 150 years. This is the macro background behind Railtown. He said that the AI 2.0, which is right where Railtown is a $15.7 trillion bull market, $15.7 trillion bull market ahead. And he said that AI 2.0 will be the first, in his judgment, the first $100 trillion industry. $100 trillion industry. And then he talked about, he compared the rapidness of the acceptance. And he said this AI 2.0 technology is more significant than any technology breakthrough in history. Pretty impressive. And then, we listened to Corey Brandolini talk about Railtown a year ago live, and he emphasized Microsoft partners. And remember, he sold a company to Microsoft. He said that Railtown solutions are battle tested. They're ready to go. They're agents. He said they have an AI agent which basically, one of the things it does is it executes all the mundane tasks that consume 40% of a software developer's time. So the software developer can go on to production, creating things. He said that software development is a complex process, both in the deploying and the maintaining of software. He said that software development, the estimate is $85 billion of potential GDP is lost in code. And I didn't write it all out, but what I remember him talking about is just the delays, the crises, the fixing the bugs, the downtime. That's what I think he meant. And then he talked about what Railtown's experience is. Railtown is getting phenomenal numbers from our customers. This was a year ago. And he talked about what they've created, or what they're focused on, is application general intelligence. And then Corey Brandolini said, there is no bigger market in the world than software development. No bigger market in the world than software development. He talked about Microsoft owning GitHub, and they've got 1 million paying customers. And he brought up, what if, he said that GitHub bundles services which they sell. And I guess the logical leap he was trying to imply, this is a year ago, is what if we got into those services? They're already in bed with Microsoft. He said that the development tools market for 2025 is a $21 billion business. The AI solutions market by next year is estimated to be $309 billion. He talked about some other little things. And then Jennifer, you're Zelly Zen. I've gone over with everyone the research report out a year ago from Research Capital, who came out with a rating of a speculative buy. Venkata Velagapundi is the CPA, and they estimate from a year ago. They initiated coverage with a speculative buy rating with a target price of $2 a share. And they go through all their rationale, but they they say this: Railtown AI is developing a robust tool to revolutionize software development by boosting productivity, improving quality, etc., saving time and money. Let's skip down. Then they go the valuation recommendation. They use a enterprise valuation, Zen, of 12 times revenue, which they estimate as capturing 3% of the addressable market. They assume the addressable market is $3 billion. Let me refresh you to what Corey Brandolini, the CEO, who's done this before and is in software development, said about the AI solutions market next year. 300 billion. He said for 2025, the software development tools market is 21 billion. So these guys calculated the addressable market at 3 billion, and they used a 3% penetration as an estimate, and they come up with a target of $2 for Railtown. They also assume a 20% expansion in the number of outstanding shares. So they're trying to be conservative there. And just two other points on this 20-page research report. They, on page 10, Zen, they say Railtown AI's current value proposition and future potential, that's the headline. They say, based on our discussions with several customers of Railtown, the value proposition of Railtown's AI tool is quite impressive. Customers reported that Railtown's platform saves each developer about 15 to 25% of their time. Given the high costs associated with employing software developers, this level of efficiency translates into a significant return on investment. This makes Railtown's AI tool not only a time saver, but a solution, a cost-effective solution. And then they go through various use cases. They talk about milestones that are going to improve acceptance and acceleration. And then they talk about their strategic partnership with Mila Quebec, which is on the website. You can look it up. Recently, this is a year ago, Railtown entered into a strategic partnership with Mila Quebec AI Institute. This might benefit the company in accelerating the time to market with each product release. Mila Quebec AI Institute, also known as Montreal Institute for Learning Algorithms, is a well-respected research institute focusing on machine learning. Mila collaborates with a broad spectrum of companies ranging from startups to large multinational corporations. These collaborations are aimed at advancing research in artificial intelligence and fostering the application of AI technologies across industries. We view the strategic partnership to immensely benefit Railtown by providing access to AI engineering talent and non-dilutive financing. Then they go on to talk about Railtown adopts a multi-channel way of selling its product. They talk about the Microsoft co-seller program. It's all here on page 12, and they're effusive about that. So then they do a bottom-up approach on the market. They give you the growth in software developers. They give you a base case, a bear case, and a bullish case analysis, which they summarize here. Zenny Zen. The base case is a target of $2. The bull case is a target of $3.60 US, and the bear case is a target of 90 cents, which is higher than where the stock is trading right now. And finally, Zenny Zen, I don't know your sophistication. You, with the sunglasses and the long hair, you look like a Valley doll girl, so I don't know that you ever took your studies seriously, but you might have. There's a thing called the value creation curve. And it applies in all industries. It's an S curve. Down at the bottom, in this case, is R&D. Took, I think, 6 years, and I think up to $10 million. And that valuation might have been lower than these numbers. But that period of R&D, I don't know what angel rounds were done or friends and family, but that period of R&D has ended at the price level of 40 cents to 60 cents. Why do we know that? Because they're already announcing, they just announced Zally Zen, you can look it up. They just announced 3 enterprise sales agreements. So we know they're going up the commercialization they're going up the sales curve, proving the concept, proving that their software is valuable. So we know the R&D phase has ended. Okay, Zally Zen? They started that last year, and they were meeting with incredible acceptance. It's in the videos that are already released. It's in the public press releases. But then in November, Zally Zen, somewhere around here, the red line, somewhere around here, less than 40 cents, they met AI Partners. And AI Partners, they joined the network. AI Partnerships Corp is a network of 165 companies in the AI space. They joined the network. AI Partnerships was founded by some of the highest principals at OMERS, the Ontario Municipal Employees Retirement System. And it includes John Ruffalo, who founded OMERS venture capital fund that was there to raise money in the to invest money in the technology spaces on behalf of OMERS. That at least 40 companies in the last round of technology. But Ruffalo was one of the initial backers of a company called Constellation Software. Now, the reason that's important is AI Partners is set up to get the network in place and then roll up the best of these AI companies into the parent company, AI Partners, using the model that Constellation Software used, Zally Zen. Constellation Software, over a decade, 13 years or so, depending on where you start counting it, They IPO'd in 2006, but it took them a while to get their model working. But anyway, it went from under $10 to $5,000 and it still does. It rolls up software companies into Constellation Software without increasing the flow to stock. And the software companies are mature companies. They're old line software. They're taking that same concept to AI companies. And they started AI partnerships with that in mind. Ruffalo's one of the founders. And so are these Omers guys. So they have a network of 165 companies, or 64. Railtown comes in and joins. And guess what? Zen. Ruffalo and the other guys, Dr. Core, they want to be bought. They want to merge with Railtown. Out of all those 160, they want to merge with them. I think it's because of Conductor. February 11th, again down here, February 11th this year, they announced they're going to merge with AI Partners. Now, Zen, AI Partners, the group, it's not the parent company, it's the group of companies from credible sources that were on Twitter. It's not there now, but I took a picture of it. In February, we're annualizing revenue at $400 million across 160 AI companies. $400 million. Now, Zen, the multiples paid over the last 6 years in acquisitions, merger and acquisitions for AI technology companies are here. I paid for this. I paid for this analysis. It wasn't much, $50, $60. The lowest multiple paid on revenue was 12 times. The highest was 50 times, and the average was 25 times. You can see this here, Zen. So when you take that kind of multiple onto some level of revenues, once they combine the companies, I assume they won't be able to get all of the roll-ups done at that 400 million level. So let's use 200 million, half of that they'll roll up the best of the best. And then I don't know how they're going to do the splits. So let's take that 200 million down to 100 million net to we as a group, shareholders, 100 million. Well, Zen, if you use 100 million, which I think I've discounted quite conservatively, as the annualized revenue run rate of Railtown, let's say it takes them 6 months to accomplish that. So it's what's projected for 2026. Let's say they project just from AI Partners. I'm not going to guess what Conductor and the sales agreements that they're entering into. Let's just use 100 million. And instead, right now, the multiples in the AI space, Zen, are 100 to 150 times revenue, because there's this wall of money coming into Wall Street. Morgan Stanley is educating their wealth advisors, their brokers on AI. There's going to be a flood of capital coming into these kind of companies, and these investment types are going to fall all over each other to buy good AI companies. So that what I'm hearing from people like Goldman Sachs, it's 100 to 150x. But let's not use those high numbers. The number from the last 6 years across 21 companies, the average is 25x. Let's just use 25x. So 100 million times 25x is $2.5 billion. And let's divide that by the outstanding shares right now are 140 million. Let's double the shares for this calculation. We'll divide it by 300 million shares. I think that's ridiculously conservative. That gives us an $8 target price on the stock out of the gate, $8. Now, Zelly, if you want to be, I used to haircut that number, it's 833. I would haircut that and come up with 350. That's how I started on this. Now that the stock's 60 cents, I still think it'll 10x. I think I've already been conservative, but I think you see that just out of the gate, before growth, without looking at what Railtown itself can do with conductor, lang tracks, rail tracks, shredder, and the other thing they just announced, the other tool for software developers. The target's $8. I don't think you have to discount that, but if you want to, take some off, $6, $5, $4. So yes, Zelly Zen, I think the stock has doubled. I think the stock, in your language, has doubled. But that is just the prelude to a gigantic move. And going back to my curve, the valuation curve, I'm just picking one of their partners. I used to talk about this, Zelly Zell, last year as an idea where their R&D, they're going to develop their customers, and then the logical buyer would be Microsoft or AMD or NVIDIA. And I figured this could be 10x at that point, could be more. And I thought it could be very rapidly accomplished because technology moves rapidly. But then they ran into AI partners, and I think the upside is even greater now because of AI partners. And the stock price is here at 40 cents, 60 cents, because everybody that knows the story can't buy right now. Everybody with money that wants to be in the stock can't buy right now. We can. The clues are in all the press releases. They're in the past videos. They're in the websites. I've gone over all of that here. But then the macro wave of demand for AI 2.0 is going to overwhelm this. So the timing is a perfect storm. But this is where the stock price is stuck because the buyers aren't here. So once they accomplish the acquisition, and that's an assumption. That's an assumption. I think the stock jumps. But if it jumps to $6, I think it still has all of this ahead of it. In other words, this 60 cents is a starting point for our investment. But once and I'm picking, my target is $6. I don't know. It could be $3. It could be $12. I don't know. But you got to have a theory. Once it achieves that target, that becomes the starting point. That becomes the base. That is when the growth starts growing, and I think it might be pushing it to say $60. It might be more like, I don't know, $40. But this buyout, when it eventually comes, could be much higher. But over the next 18 months, 2 years, big numbers. And the reason I talk about those now is people like you come in here to create fear so people shake loose. I don't want people shaking loose. But my point is the price is the wrong price. Once this period, this quiet period ends, the stock is going to find its right price. I think it's 10x from here. Could I be wrong? Could it be 5x? Sure. Could it be 15x? Sure. This is a guess, but it's going to be higher than 60 cents. So yes, Zelly Zen. The stock has doubled, but I think it's going to go 10x from here. And then from there, it could go 10x over the next 2 years. So Zelly Zell, I don't know how many stocks you know that you have confidence in that could give investors, if they get out of this shit of all these crappy stocks, buy, there's a contract, CEO, there's a short squeeze, we better get in, there's whales coming in. I don't know how many stocks you know that are on the cusp of participating in the greatest technological revolution in 150 years, according to James Altucher, possibly the greatest wealth creation on a macro level in our lifetimes, according to James Altucher. But certainly a bull market ahead for the next couple of years, I think, in terms of Wall Street directing money into AI 2.0. And I don't know how many stocks you know, Zelly, that maybe it takes 2 years, maybe it takes 3 years, are going to give you 100x, but the key is to be in it. Now, we don't know all the information we need to know 100% confidence that that's what's going to happen. But what I do know is the price is not the right price over the last 4.5 months because it's in a quiet period. The tape, Zelly Zen, as you're noticing, the stock price has doubled, not because of me. It's a Canadian stock. The tape is telling you the deal is almost done. And when it's done, I think you're going to see 10x. So yes, I am recommending to people to concentrate their position over the short time. They can always go unconcentrated if they want to listen to you, my friend with the flower in her hair. Hey, Scott. It's hard to say your name. All right, so you now have 6,500. I'm going to go watch Djokovic here quickly, so I'm going to finish these. Political gamer. You guys can move your money and listen to Lion's Den, but he's just wanting to turn your money into hot money so you can lose it. Rail will never see 20 cents. I agree, Bill. I didn't realize I was that far behind. Mad Greek, you're my hero. Mad Greek. 96,837. Bill Myko. See, Bill Myko is a gentleman, unlike me. I just looked. GME's up 80 cents. That's your definition, Lion, of popping off? What a joke. Better said. You said it succinctly and much more quickly than I did. Account settings. Good job. Account settings. My pen stopped working. 111,047. Good thing you got that 47. I love that because you're maximizing. I love that. Ted Williams. G-Bucks down another 20 cents. Those warrants really helping out the share price. Oh, wait, no one got the warrants. Never mind. Ted, it's not funny, but I'll tell you, for me, the warrants I got as a dividend for GTII, I can't sell them. What Morgan Stanley told me yesterday, even though I filled out the paperwork last year, they said, oh, this is a non-reporting company, so you don't qualify for our Rule 144 exchange program. You can always move your shares to another account. Do you see what they do? The shorts just have to buy time, so the company runs out of money and becomes non-reporting. And then the Wall Street doesn't have a problem with that dividend. They're all in it together. We have to escape. We have to get out of this muck. But I love that, Ted. I love that post. Matthew Mall, I'm very grateful what you're doing. Thank you. Your insight and knowledge is priceless. Well, let's see. I hope so. I hope it's at least has a value on it that makes your accounts independent of all of this shyster, that's a bad word, all this hypesterism. Of course, Zelly Zen would say that's what I'm doing probably, but I am being pretty emphatic. I will tell you. One last hurrah, Christopher says, then William turns into a pumpkin. Well, we'll see about that. I don't know about that. I would love that the deal had already been done because I could be watching tennis right now. But I do, Christopher, have hopes to do more with my life than being attacked by losers and getting into this really childish high school back and forth. And I already know what's going on here, and I know there's no way to win. But you're right, I might do something else, but I'm not sure I'm going to leave. I don't think I'm going to leave interviewing and being available. But I want to be in investments that I feel are real investments as opposed to these over-the-counter stocks that there's always some story gimmick. There's a whale, there's an IR guy, the IR guy pumps it up. He sells his stock, the shorts come in and they get a signature from the CEO. The CEO crosses stock with the shorts through a fake investment firm, and then it all gets seller box. The stock stops trading. Essentially, they can take all their money out offshore. They don't pay taxes. They don't pay capital gains, and they go do it again. I'm sick of all that. So thank you for your, I think, mean-spirited post. But thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome to your opinion. Deep into your tunnel, whatever that means. Adam N. Don't get me wrong, I love Railtown and I keep buying it. All right, that's fair enough. It's fair enough. He does. Lion, we'll give him his time since I said something about him. William, I love how you tell people I'm telling others to buy. You're emotional incentive and you're insulting. A piece of shit. Well, Lion, you're here because you want audience. You're here to distract me from what I'm trying to accomplish. And you're here because of your idiotic ideas, to go into GME and AMC. What do you think you were saying? Oh, they're going to go to the moon? You're not encouraging people to run over there and buy? Look, if you think I'm a piece of shit, get off, go have your YouTube. I don't need your help. I haven't ever banned you. But if you have ideas, go have your audience. You don't need to be here calling me a piece of shit. But you also, when you come here and you say GME and AMC are going to the moon, you don't think that's that's trying to tell people to buy? I think you're a coward then. You don't take responsibility for your actions. All right, can't fool me, 10x. All right. Kiss my fucking ass, Lion of all trades says. Remove my mod, I'm done. Yeah, I'm sure you're done. Sure you're done. Colby, I burned bad in AMC and never recovered. Lost 40 grand. Yeah. I hope, Colby, I forget the number of shares you have, but I think if you're willing to, um, I don't remember how many shares you have, but I think Railtown is a way maybe to recover that money. I mean, it's not guaranteed, of course, but I'm trying to give you my conviction that Railtown gives you a chance at recovery here and maybe great profits and being able to put what the lessons we've learned to use. Lion of all trades says keep pumping so you can recover everything lost in your supposed squeeze plays you thought would be successful. So he's showing his stripes. A lion can't change its stripes. Yeah, I admit I listened to a train of thought early on, and I had believed that Wall Street did enforce rules and covering, but over the last 3 or 4 years, I've learned hard lessons. I've shared them with you, and I no longer believe that the short squeezes happen. Now, Lion here told you just a little while ago that AMC and GME are going to the moon. So what is that other than a short squeeze? That's talking out of both sides of the lion's mouth. But there's no question 4 years ago, I drew charts and said, if it squeezed, it could do this and this and this. That's what I thought based on what I was experiencing, learning, based on what used to happen in the market. I no longer believe that Wall Street enforces settlement of trades. And so I don't think short squeezes happen unless something happens out of the blue, unless the stock price starts rising very quickly so the shorts no longer have time to manipulate and hide, come in here, destroy confidence, and move around. And I think the longs offshore somewhere have to collude, not in a bad way, not like the criminals do, but they have to create a group who hires a computer to do algorithms on the buy side to fight the short selling, and then those computers who aren't intelligent, they get fooled and it runs. But that's so rare. It's just so rare. I don't think short squeezes happen. Railtown's not a short squeeze, just to be clear. And if the stock runs because some of these shorts have to cover, I hope to help people don't think it's a short squeeze and get into hot money and start listening to Lion's ideas, which nobody makes money on. Although he was correct with WOLF out of the blue. He came on here, said it was 40 cents. It went to $2. He was right. But if you were in Wolf, you didn't buy Railtown at 30 cents. And probably, I don't know if you'd be coming back and buying it. It worked. I have to give him credit on that. But Railtown is still here. But that's, I think, just chance. I thought Railtown would complete their deal last month. I think any day they could complete the deal. But it could be August. It could be August. But you got to be in it to win it. No wonder Ham left. Now I'm leaving too. You know, that really breaks my heart, Lion. I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you. Adam M is the man. Adam M is the man. You know, you're such a good guy, Lion, and I think people are going to want to be with you, not with me. I commend you for getting into that. It's gonna be fun to see all these coins pop, and William is going to miss out on what? I'm not going to miss you. Lots of laughs. Lots of luck. All right, I gave Lion his due. Hey, YouTube user. All right. YouTube user is up there. That's fantastic. 13,690. That's fantastic. Good job. Ted. Ted Williams. Lo-fi changed to low IQ. All right. Yeah, I got it. There, I like that. I thought you were leaving. You're not giving people financial advice? No, I'm not. I'm giving a recommendation in the context of education and opinion and strategy, but I can't give financial advice, Lion. I can't give financial advice because I do not know each of these individuals. I do not know their situation. Lion, I thought you were leaving. That's great. That's great. Lots of laughs. You're telling Donna to sell her finger to go all into Railtown? I don't know if she sold all her finger, but she asked me, and I made it very clear I couldn't give financial advice, but I told her what I would do. And yes, I think people that have finger, to talk about finger in the next, let's just use September 15th as a deadline. You got to start somewhere. You sit down with a pad of paper. What do you think Finger's going to do between now and September 15th? I think it'll be $2 plus or minus 50, 75 cents. But I think it'll be $2 in September. Could be $1. So what do I think Railtown will be by September 15th? I think it'll be 10 or 11 or $12. But let's just stick with 10x. Let's just stick with $6. So if I'm sitting there with a position sitting in finger and I'm sitting with a small position in Railtown, yeah, I'm going to say for the next 8 weeks, you should be in Railtown. Absolutely. But that's a recommendation in the context, just like they do with investment letters, just like they do with investment research. It's in this context that I'm saying that research and the other day I went through all these risks. I'm not going to do it now because I don't have the time. But it's all these disclosures. I've said it over and over again. I seek the safe harbor of the disclosure statements everybody sees on every financial statement, on every recommendation, on every letter. Basically, everything I'm saying could be wrong. I don't think it is, but it could be wrong. You've got to do your own thinking, your own analysis of your own situation. And if Donna chooses to do what Donna does, it really is Donna's choice. I'm not forcing her to do it, but yes, that is my strongest recommendation. I was saying, Lion, that's wild. I will leave now. Thank you for leaving. Happy Friday, Colby. See, he's such a friend with everybody. Colby, no need for all the fussing. I agree. So now what? Wow, I mentioned the company on here, Bill, and that message disappeared. What company? I forget now what company. Oh, the I don't remember. XRP is mooning. See, they want your money hopping from one thing to another. Please just wait. Ted, line of all, just like you said you were. Yeah. Oh, FO. Yeah, I know what that means. Turbo Turtle then has to gonna tell you XRP is a piece of shit and you should go under rail. No, that's not what I'm saying. I like XRP. I don't know. I don't know if Lion has a limited capacity to listen. What I'm saying is, what do you think XRP is going to do over the next 8 weeks? What do you think XRP will do by October 1st? It's up to you. I don't think XRP is going to do very much by October 1st. I think Railtown is going to give you 10x by October 1st and start its growth from there. That's all I'm saying. So Lion just wants to confuse you. He's working with the shorts. He's working with the shorts. Wow, I mentioned the counterfeiters on here and the messages disappear. Wow, so now what? I wonder what that's all about. Lion of all turds, just go like you said you were. Lion of all trades. See, you can get railed too. Guys, Lion works with the shorts. So I'm giving him his due because I said, it's just fairness. I said something earlier on. Let him have his say. But he's here to cause you to have hot money, and he's no good at what he does. He's no good at trading. Every now and then he comes in at the last minute. He didn't tell you about Wolf early on. He told you, I think he had information. And he's trying to get you to make your account hot money again. I want you to stop thinking the way Lion thinks. He can go do it on his channel. He doesn't have to come here, call me a piece of shit. Adios. Ciao. Colby, all right, okay. I like the idea though, Colby. I don't mind it at all. And I don't mind, thinking ahead to how we want to allocate capital. The problem with Railtown is I think Railtown might, when it goes to $6, I don't think you're going to want to sell it. And it might go to $15 and you don't want to sell it. We don't know that yet, but that's my suspicion is when it gets higher, it's going to be hard to sell, to go into anything. However, Colby, if your account establishes a certain size, you can diversify without selling Railtown. We might be able to just add a couple of positions on margin, not a lot of margin, not a lot, 5%, 10%. So there is a way, and I appreciate it. I didn't mean to jump on you, and I do feel myself a little worked up because I really don't want people to respond I don't want everybody, including myself, to make those mistakes of going to one to the other. I do not think squeeze plays work. I just don't. I don't think Finger's going to squeeze. I don't think GTI is going to squeeze. I don't think G-Bucks is going to squeeze. I don't think ZJYL is going to squeeze. I don't think GDC is going to squeeze. But I have been hearing that there's some good things going on at G-Bucks. But even if G-Bucks were to, that's the one in, I don't know, 20, 1 in 50 that did work. It doesn't change the decision right now to me on a risk reward basis. I think people should be in Railtown right now. Hey, Jack, how are you? Hey, YouTube user. Did I write that down? All right, so you have now 13,540. No, sorry. 13,890. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. 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 I think you need to block Lion of all trades. Yeah, I just want to get to the bottom so I can go watch tennis. Um, but I will do that. Giuseppe, are you here to recruit people to your channel, Lion? Of course he is. I'm glad XRP went up, sold it, and added to Railtown. Yay, Jack Hamilton! Yay! $55,377. That's awesome. All right, so he's laughing his ass off. I like how you're all getting on my case now. Sheep. All right, why then? Why what? You make no sense. Yeah, okay, sheep. I'm here to share information, not recruit. I can gain my own subs with actual brain and who actually wants to learn. That's great. Go do it. Um, good on your channel, and I hope you do great. So do I. I hope you do. Not pump like other people do. No, no, you don't pump. You don't come on here and say AMC and GME are going to the moon. All meme stocks are taking off. You don't do that. Of course you do. Lion, go away. People underestimate. We don't care. I don't care about you. People underestimate me and think I'm here to distract people. Of course you are. Of course you are. Benjamin, how do I take this guy? How's G-Bucks? It sucks. It sucks. I told people that. So I don't know what your point is. William has his thesis. You have yours. Cool. Good on your channel. Oh, God. You guys, can you read that yourself? I don't want to read it out. And of course, Lion wishes me the best, and he hopes you all make a ton. So when you have the money, you'll listen to him and lose it on his channel, or make money. You might make money every now and then. Lion has a good idea, but he has bad ideas too, and he's denied those. ZZ, no. ZZ, you haven't been here. I'm not upset with you. People know that I've been worked up, and I'm trying to hurry. Now I'm missing the match, I guess. But um, I don't know why I'm so adamant. I want people to recover. I want people to win here. And it's not because I have an ulterior motive. It's weird, because I don't see this. I feel like after everybody makes this money, I don't want them to lose it, but everybody else out there, the IR types, are going to bring you ideas. They're going to make stock and make bank. I'm not making anything here. But what I do think is, in those quiet times when I wonder, let me put it a different way, ZZ. I would feel horribly about myself if I didn't know that I worked as hard as I could to make sure people bought this stock. That's how I have. Pilar, my son is all right. I'm glad he is. I'm glad he is. I think he's going to be happy. I ain't said none of that shit, dumbass. That's great. Eat crow. That's great. I thought you were leaving. You said going. It's up there, Lion. I'm not making it up. Going to moon. I think you said going to moon. Maybe I misquoted it in my haste. You said AMC and GM are going to moon. It's up there. I mean, I cannot believe you deny something you said right up there. Pilar, don't respond to these, William. Lion is just a little kitty with nothing better to do, and a little. All right, I gotta. Pilar, he's timed you out. Let me just get rid of him. Pilar, if you're timed out, I'll go look to make sure you get back in. Personnel's for assholes. Callahan, I was in personnel for 10 years. Yeah. I'm with William. Let's go Railtown. Let's see. William, well due respect, GTI finger MAP. Others did not work. Why is this any different? Well, that's true. And I didn't know anything or participate in MMAT. So all I can tell you is I thought it was a pretty good company. But I did participate in Torchlight. And you're right. I think GTII was always, in retrospect, and at the time, was really a POS stock. But it was trying to do everything, and it had this large short position, and they had various things they're going to do. And I just showed you the chart earlier. Damn, I'm never going to be able to see this match. I'll try to show you it again. I do think that GTII was squeezing McDermott in November, December. Do you see that rally up there? I think it was squeezing, but then the system via three guys came in and talked everyone into buying COSM with a lot of false promises. At the same time, everybody went there, lost money there, and you see the same thing in finger. And the difference with Railtown, McDermott, is that Railtown is not one of these stocks. It's not a short squeeze stock. It's not a manipulated stock. Let's issue a dividend. It's not, we're going to merge with this company, merge with that company. It's not one of those stocks. Railtown on its own, it's a group of guys that have done it before, and it's a real product, and they're early, and because they decided to buy AI Partners, and it's stretched out now for 4 or 5 months, that's giving us the opportunity to buy it, as you put it, at a penny price. But I don't think Railtown is a penny stock. I think Railtown is, for lack of a better word, it should be a New York Stock Exchange stock. And I don't think it's going to be a penny stock much longer. So McDermott, you have to open your mind and see what's coming. You have to see what it is now, not the pennies. But it's suppressed right now by shorting. And I've explained that. In the headlines, it said MOU. In the headlines, it said it's going to take weeks. And that's when the shorts come in with their buddies to drive the stock price down, because any deal between two CEOs, agreed, once it's announced, the shorts can break it up by destroying the price. The shorts can also dilute the benefit of the deal, a la MMAT, a la MULN, a la company after company, by reducing the price if the company has to go to their buddies at Lynn Partners or the buddies, the Kramer or the Toad. They destroy the price and they expand the number of shares. That's not happening here. Those schemes are not going to work here. McDermott, you don't have to believe it. I mean, you can be skeptical, but Railtown is an AI company ready to go, first to market, first in class. Everybody wants their product, and it's happening to meet the confluence of Wall Street probably raising hundreds of billions, but it could be more than that. Could be they raise $1 trillion by the time they're done. In all the various products Wall Street's able to do, moving money into AI 2.0, and Railtown's going to be at the forefront of it. It won't be the only company, but Railtown, in all likelihood, will be bought out by 3 years from now. Who? I don't know. But one of the big companies. Railtown is that story. It is not one of these squeeze story, and it is different. GTII is crap. Finger, I don't want to say is crap, but Finger could be under $1 this year. Finger could be much higher this year. Finger is going through a period of time now where they have to perform. But if they have to go raise money again, what's the discount off of $2 after Roth Capital's clients sell it down? There's some risk there. And then you say MMAT doesn't trade. MMAT was destroyed by this criminal activity. They destroyed Torchlight. Torchlight reversed into MMAT. They destroyed MMAT, and then the distribution, which was private, they fraudulently made it public, and then they shorted that, and then it's been a battle. And all I can tell you, McDermott, there's no winning. None. I believed the story. I believed that you could get out of this shit. You can't. The only way out right now, silver and Railtown. Silver I'm putting on the side, Railtown. Railtown's how to make your account big enough to go into real stocks. These other ones aren't real. They're all manipulated. GME popping off for the 100th time. That's right, Stan Tennis. Let's talk about silver. Yeah, gonna miss it. I am. Yes, silver kicking in. Got 800 ounces. Congratulations. All right. I got to the end of it, and Sinner's beating Djokovic 4-2. Damn it. So Alcaraz actually won in 4 sets, but it was very close. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go watch this. All right, I'm gonna sign off. I'll come back after the tennis. I'm sorry I get worked up. These guys trigger me right now because I know their motives. No, I appreciate the question. I don't know. I would change your point slightly. There's nothing to stop the attempted manipulation in any stock. I think Railtown is being manipulated. I just showed you that they have, according to the Ronk report I just showed you, they have 41 million exemptions to Reg Show. 41 million. So they're attempting to keep it down. They're attempting to manipulate Railtown. The difference here is Railtown doesn't need capital. Railtown is run by sophisticated financial types. Railtown isn't going to do a toxic deal. They might do some strategic deals, like they already announced one, and they did a raise earlier. But Railtown is a completely different kettle of fish. And so the shorts, I think, are about to get hung by their own petard. That's what I think. Anyway, McDermott, I did appreciate your question, even though I probably didn't sound like that. I'm going to sign off and go watch the tennis. Thank you for signing in. And, eventually I'm going to do this channel in a way that I'm too old for this. Back and forth with idiots and bullies. Line of all trades has showed you who he is. So just remember that. But you're welcome to go to his channel. He's a trader. And if you want to trade, sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong. He says he didn't bring in HNRC did. I have it in my notebooks. But other times he's right. You can go trade with that. I don't want you. That's not serious investing. That's not being serious about your account. And that's all I'm saying. It's nothing personal against him, although I think he shows his stripes. Can a lion change its stripes? I don't think so. Anyway, peace, love, and happiness. Catch you after the tennis.